बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ब्रजे वसन्तं नवनीतचौरं गोपाङ्गनाना चडुकूलचौरम् अनेकजन्मार्जित पापचौरम् चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि। नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तद्ध्वं देवमात्मा बुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय। आदरणीय पूजनीय पंडित जी और पंडित को भी, प्रिय सज्जनों, प्रिय भक्त समुदाय, महानुभाव, most worshipable pandits, devotees of the Supreme Lord, dearest devotees, the divine souls. First, let me say Radhe Radhe to each and everyone, and my pranam, my humblest prostrations to all of you. As we begin tonight, as we do every night, in the Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran Yatra. A yatra means a journey. We're taking a journey into the divine pages of this most wonderful scripture, the last scripture written by Vedavyas, and most important, Shrimad Bhagavat Mahapuran. Tonight is our 14th night in this wonderful journey. And as always, let's begin with the Bhagavat Sumiran. Sumiran means to meditate, to remember. Let us meditate on Bhagavan Shri Krishna, asking for His blessings, His grace, His guidance and protection. As tonight, as we read Bhagavat Mahapuran, to help us to understand better, as we listen, for us to get the true earth, the true meaning of Shrimad Bhagavat Mahapuran, and to be blessed with the thing that is most, that's dearest to Shri Krishna, His divine bhakti. Riddhi Siddhi Data, Siddhi Sadan Vadan Varana, Sumira Barambar मदन कदन के लाल को गणपति कृपा निधान ज्ञान खानी आनंद भवन देहु मोहि वरदान वर्णो भाषा भागवत जय शिव आनंद कंद भूतनाथ भव भय हरन भक्ति विषय निर्द्वंद गौर वरन मंगल कर हे ब्रज चंद मुकुंद ब्रजभूषण दूषण हरन काटहु भव भय पंद चरण शरण ली आन कर जय 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 जगदीश सेवत शेष महेश अज महिमा अमित अभेद वेद भेद जानत ने देहु मोहि वरदान राधा वर यह वर सदा प्रेम भरी मुस्कान नित चित्त में खटकाट रहे मोहि चाहिए कछु नाहि और वस्तु प्रभु जात की बसी रहे मन माही यह बाकी झाकी सदा लिए लकुटिया हाथ गायन के पीछे पीरत ग्वाल बाल लिए साथ मोर मुकुट शिर पर धरे कर मुरली उर्मार शीश मुकुट कटी पीत पट या छविसो नंदला बसहु हृदय मम निशि दिवस गुरुपद रज धर शीश कहु भागवत की कथा जो शुकदेव मुनीश कवि सो परीक्षित निप अति भई निगम कल्पतरो गलितं फलम सुख मुखादमृतत् द्रव संयुतम पिबत भागवतम रसमालयम मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुका। बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, राधा रानी की जय, श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय, श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। आज की कथा है 6वें अध्याय 6वें स्कंद पहले अध्याय और दूसरे अध्याय की कथा है। बहुत अद्भुत कथा है, क्योंकि लोग उसी को कोट करते हैं और नहीं समझते हैं, गलत समझते हैं। इसलिए अद्भुत कथा बता रहा हूं। Tonight's katha from Shrimad Bhagavat Mahapuran, the 14th katha we're doing, is from the 6th canto, 1st and 2nd chapter. of Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran. This katha is very, very strange and very, very interesting. Very strange because this katha is quoted by many people, but very few understand truly what the katha is saying. Somehow it seems that we do not read properly. Everything is there, but we do not read properly. This katha is quoted many, many people, that only by chanting the name of God, one will attain God realization. No matter if you think about God or don't think about God, once you take His name. And the example given is Ajamil. Ajamil died. He took the God name of Bhagavan, but he was thinking about his son, and he attained God. Part true, part not true. The most important part is not true. We'll hear tonight. Who was Ajamil? Why is he given an example of papi, sinner? When it comes to sinners, Ajamil is given an example of sinners. Why? We'll hear all of this tonight in this beautiful katha. We'll begin, but as we normally do, with bhajan kirtan. So in the books, please turn to page 12. This beautiful bhajan, written by Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, speaks about how beautiful Shri Krishna is. The most beautiful person in the material world is Kamdev, the god of love. To describe how beautiful Shri Krishna is, he is told to be more beautiful than the beauty of uncountable Kamdevs. मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मुरली वारो जा पर काम करो रनवारो। मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मुरली वारो जा पर काम करो रनवारो। मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मुरली वारो जा पर काम करो रनवारो। मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मुरली वारो जा पर काम करो रनवारो। मोर मुकुट पीतांबर धारो चल अलमस्त चाल मतवारो। शुक सन कादिक तो कह प्यारो इक टक लखत समाधि विसारो। शुक सन कादिक तो कह प्यारो इक टक लखत समाधि विसारो। निज छवि लखी मन सोचत प्यारो उर लगाओ राधा तन धारो। निज छवि लखी मन सोचत प्यारो उर लगाओ राधा तन धारो। ओ मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मुरली वारो जा पर काम करो रनवारो। मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मुरली वारो जा पर काम करो रनवारो। एकदा सौवनं याता पितृ संदेश कृद्विजा आदाय तत् आवृता फल पुष्प समित कुशान ददर्श कामिनम कंचित क्षुद्र सह भुंजिद्याया पीत्वा चाम मधुमरेयम मदाघूर्णित नेत्रया मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मुरली वारो जा पर काम करो रनवारो
मेरो प्यारो प्यारो
राधे
वारो जा पर काम करो रनवारो
निज छवि लखी मन सोचत प्यारो अति रस भरे नैन रत्नारो जही लखी शंभु समाधि विसारो
अति रस भरे नैन रत्नारो जही लखी शंभु समाधि विसारो
दंडक बन मुनि गण लखी प्यारो वर मांग्यो पति बनहु हमारो
दंडक वन मुनि गण लखी प्यारो वर मांग्यो पति बनहु हमारो
उमार माहु जब लख प्यारो निज पाते व्रत धर्म विसारो
उमार माहु जब लख प्यारो निज पाती व्रत धर्म विसारो
ओ मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मुरली वारो जा पर काम करो रनवारो
मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मुरली वारो जा पर काम करो रनवारो
ददर्श कामिनम मत्तया विलश निव्या व्यपेतम निरपन्नपम क्रीडन्तमनुगायन्तम हसन्त मनयांतिके दृष्ट्वा ताम कायमिलेप तन बहुनाम परिरिष्यता जगाम इच्छवशम सहसैव विमोहितः मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मुरली वारो जा पर काम करो रनवारो
मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मुरली वारो जा पर काम करो रनवारो
अस कृपालून जादू डारो चर अरु अचर स्वभाव विसारो
अस कृपालून जादू डारो चर अरु अचर स्वभाव विसारो
ओ मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मुरली वारो जा पर काम करो रनवारो
मेरो प्यारो प्यारो मुरली वारो जा पर काम करो रनवारो
बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। एक ब्राह्मण थे, वो ब्राह्मण का नाम अजामिल। वो बड़ी ज्ञानी थे, वेद का ज्ञाता था। शीलवान थे और सब गुणों में भरे। एक व्रत लिया भक्ति का कि भक्ति करेंगे, और जितेंद्रिय भी थे। सब मंत्रों का सिद्धि और हर तरह के उनके कार्य शुद्ध थे, पवित्र थे। अपने गुरु का भी सेवा करते थे, माता पिता का भी, सबके। There was a Brahmin by the name of Ajamil. He was very knowledgeable. He had complete, full knowledge of the Vedas, etc. Very knowledgeable. He was very friendly by nature, an abode of friendliness. He had good conduct, great virtues, very virtuous. He had taken the vow of doing bhakti his whole life. He had his senses under his control, Jitendriya. He was well versed in all his sacred mantras and was pure in his habits. He served the Guru. He served the elders, served his parents. He was very dharmic. एक बार वो ब्राह्मण पिता की आज्ञा के अनुसार बन गए। फल फूल दूब इत्यादि लाने के लिए लकड़ी हवन करना है, ब्राह्मण थे। तो पिता ने आज्ञा दी कि जाओ वन में, ये सब उस समय तो बाजार नहीं था, जो भी चाहते हैं तो वन में जाके ले आओ। तो गए थे, फल फूल दूब लकड़ी इत्यादि। जब वो वापस आ रहे थे तो उन्हें देखा एक शूद्र और एक वेश्या, शूद्र वेश्य प्यार कर रहे थे। वो शूद्र शराब से खूब नशे में थे और वेश्य भी। ये अजामिल ने देखा। अजामिल उस लड़की को देखकर, क्योंकि दोनों नशे में थे तो उसके कपड़े ठीक से नहीं पहने, कई अंग देखने लगे वो वेश्य का। तो उसके मन में काम भाव भर गया, काम। One day, through the instruction of his father, and being a very obedient son, very obedient, the father told him, son, go into the forest and bring fruits. We're going to have special worship for Bhagavan, Havan, etc. You're Brahmin. So go and bring fruits, flowers, kush ghas, doob, sticks for the Havan, wood for the Havan, etc. This long ago, so there's no market as such, and most of the thing you get in the forest anyhow. So he went, collected all these things and was returning home. On the way, he saw a very low person, a Shudra, who had drank alcohol. He was intoxicated and he was embracing a prostitute who was also intoxicated. And both being intoxicated, so the prostitute, her clothes was disheveled, half naked, many of her parts of her body were showing. In that state, in that condition. And Ajamil saw her. And seeing her like that, Ajamil became filled with lust, seeing that prostitute. He tried to control his mind. मन में अपने वश में बहुत कोशिश की. He was very knowledgeable. He had his senses under his control. We don't even have our senses under our control. How easily we lose the mind. But he had full control over the senses, yet he is trying all his best to control, using the mind and knowledge. But the mind would not come under his control. बहुत कोशिश की उन्होंने, तो उसी काम भाव से हार गए और अपने मन में ये निर्णय कर दिया कि उसी के साथ मैं जाऊंगा, उसी में सुख है, आनंद है. He fought and then he gave up. He couldn't. He became so filled with lust that the decision came in his mind that I have to get this lady. She's going to make me happy. Now, this Brahman, Ajamil, was already married. वो शादी शुद्धा थे. He was married to a Brahmani girl, and they had kids. He had children with her. But he decided that I'm going to leave. छोड़ दिया पत्नी को. अब बच्चे, माता पिता. अब ये वेश्य के साथ रहेंगे तो वेश्य ने बहुत बड़े बड़े काम रख दिया, कामनाएं. हम ये चाहते हैं, वो चाहते, ये चाहते हैं. तो अजामिल अपने माता पिता, जो माता पिता के भक्त थे, सेवा करते थे, अब चोरी करने लगे माता पिता से. Now with his, he went and told the prostitute and convinced her that become my wife. And she agreed. Jamal was very famous, being very learned, etc., and being such a wonderful a storehouse of virtues. So this woman was very happy when Jamil came and proposed to her. But she made the demands. I want this, I want that. So Jamil tried in every way to make her happy. Whatever she asked for. He served his mother and father so well before. And now he started stealing from them. Stealing in order to fulfill the desires of this prostitute and keep her happy. He started stealing from his parents. चोरी करने लगे. अब अपने पत्नी को भी छोड़ दिया, पूरे धन माता पिता से ले लिया, और जितने शास्त्र का निषेध कर्म है वो सब करने लगे. He stole the entire fortune from his mother and father to make this girl, this lady, happy. He left his wife, left the children, went and started staying with this prostitute. And all the prohibited actions of the scriptures, what you should not do, and he had knowledge of all. You know, it is said if someone doesn't know and they break the law, they will still get punishment. But if somebody knows what the law is, he's a lawyer and he breaks the law, then he has to get more punishment. You know that this is wrong. So Ajamil, he knew. He knew the Vedas and the scriptures. He knew Vedas has two things. Vidhi, Nishedh. Vidhi, do like this. Actions we should do. Omitted actions. And don't do like this, don't do like this, don't do like this. Nishedh, prohibited actions. And Ajamil, he was a knower of the Vedas. He knew that this is all wrong and he is committing all the wrong actions. He led a very sinful and low life like this, very impure. अब इसके बाद क्या हुआ? इस तरह से रहते रहते चोरी करने लगे, धम, सबको जो भी उसको करना वो करने लगे. In this way, he really lived the worst of life. He started gambling, he would rob, he would go and steal from people, rob people. He cheated, anything to do to maintain this new family of his. Because now he was having children with this lady also too. Anything that he would do. Not only that, if he could not buy Not all the time you'll have money to buy meat, etc. And this lady she loved to eat meat. Maas khane wali, she used to eat meat. He would torture animals and kill them. Kill them and torture them. If he could not get money, etc. to buy the meat to satisfy her. इस तरह से कई दिन तक 88 साल हो गया उस वेश्या के साथ 10 पुत्र पैदा किया और सबसे छोटे थे नारायण, उनका नाम रख दिया नारायण, जो सबसे छोटा पुत्र। और दोनों माता पिता बहुत लाड करते थे, दुलार लार ये होते हैं संसार में भी। So in this way he did all the wrong things. He continued performing wrong actions until time went by. He was 88 years of age. He had become old, 88 years. He had 10, besides the children he had with his previous wife, he also had 10 sons with this prostitute. 10. And the youngest son, he had put the name Narayan, which is the name of Bhagavan, Shri Krishna. He put the son name Narayan, the smallest. And both parents, he became the pet of everyone. Normally in the world also, the youngest child gets the most dular, the most pet. He becomes like that. He gets spoiled. So in this way, that child was the favorite of both parents. Ajamil would always, he was as you would say, the apple of his eyes. He would always call him and play with him and smell his head, and he will get so much happiness. इसके बाद एक दिन एक घटना हुआ. Then one day something happened. Something happened to Ajamil. Page 18 in the books you have.
बरसाने वाली राधे.
I sing all the glories of Radharani, who is the other indispensable form of Shri Krishna. Radharani and Shri Krishna are one and the same. Radharani becomes Shri Krishna becomes Radharani. She is a very innocent, Bhori Bhari, and she is very beautiful. I offer all my love, all the glories to Radharani, who is so soft and so gentle, and who lives in a place called Barsana.
बरसाने वाली राधे, भोरी भारी प्यारी राधे. बरसाने वाली राधे, भोरी भारी प्यारी राधे. सुकुमारी प्यारी राधे, वारी वारी प्यारी राधे. सुकुमारी प्यारी राधे, वारी वारी प्यारी राधे. ओ नथवारी प्यारी राधे, प्यारी 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 राधे. नथवारी प्यारी राधे, प्यारी 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 राधे. ओ प्यारी 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 राधे, प्यारी 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 राधे. ओ बरसाने वाली राधे, भोरी भारी प्यारी राधे. बरसाने वाली राधे, भोरी भारी प्यारी राधे. सैवं वर्तमानोऽज्ञो
मृत्यु काल उपस्थिते मतिं चकार तनये बाले नारायणं गहे दूरे क्रीडन् कामसक्तं पुत्रं नारायणाहृदयम् प्राविते प्लावितेन स्वरेणोच्चै राजुहावाकुलेन्द्रियः बरसाने वाली राधे भोरी भारी प्यारी राधे
बरसाने वाली
राधे
भोरी भारी प्यारी राधे
ओ पिय प्यारी प्यारी राधे बलिहारी प्यारी राधे
प्रिय प्यारी प्यारी राधे बलिहारी प्यारी राधे
प्यारे ते प्यारी राधे प्राणों ते प्यारी राधे
प्यारे से प्यारी राधे प्राणों से प्यारी राधे
ओ प्राणों ते प्यारी राधे
प्राणों से प्यारी राधे
ओ बरसाने वाली राधे भोरी भारी प्यारी राधे
बरसाने वाली राधे भोरी भारी प्यारी राधे
निशम्य प्रियमानस्य ब्रवतो हरिकीर्तिनम् भर्तृनाम महाराज पार्वदाः सहसा पतन् कस्य वाकुत आयाताः कस्मादस्य निषेधत किं देवा उपदेवा वा यूयं किं सिद्ध सत्तमा बरसाने वाली राधे भोरी भारी प्यारी राधे
बरसाने
राधे
राधे भोरी भारी प्यारी राधे
ओ बनवारी वारी राध even Shri Krishna surrenders his everything on Radharani, himself also. बनवारी वारी राधे ब्रजनारी वारी राधे
बनवारी वारी राधे ब्रजनारी वारी राधे
Both Radha and Krishna, Bhagavan Shri Radha and Krishna are supremely graceful, the highest point of grace. Therefore, devotee, put both to sit in your heart. Ati Kripal Radhe मन में बसा ले राधे।
अति कृपालु राधे, मन में बसा ले राधे।
ओ मन में बसा ले राधे,
मन में बसा ले राधे।
ओ बरसाने वाली राधे, बड़ी भारी प्यारी राधे,
बरसाने वाली राधे, बड़ी भारी प्यारी राधे।
राधा रानी की जय, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। एक दिन अजामिल लेटे थे और अपने बेटे के बारे में सोच रहे थे। अचानक उन्हें सोचा कि हमारे मौत आ रहे और यमदूत को देखने लगे। स्वप्न में भी याद पता नहीं कैसे, लेकिन देखा उन्होंने। One day, Ajamil was sitting, lying back and relaxing, almost sleeping, thinking about his son, his most favorite son, Narayan. While he was like that, suddenly he felt that death was approaching. The scriptures tell us that when we are about to die, we attain a vision that we don't normally have while alive. We're going to see things that we normally don't see. Especially, we're going to see the Yamduts, the messengers of Yamraj. When a worldly person dies, Yamduts come, messengers of death. When a saint of Bhagavan leaves, about to leave this world, Yamraj himself comes, but not to command. He just comes as a servant, saying to the God, to Bhagavan or the saint, Maharaj, I am your servant. You came in this world for so many years. In the case of Bhagavan Shri Ram, Yamraj said, you had come for 11,000 years, and that is finished. After such a long time, maybe you forgot. So I've been your servant. I just came to maybe just remind you in case you forgot. And that's the amount of time you came for. Whether you came for 48 years, in the case of Gaurang Mahaprabhu, 32 years as in the case of Shankaracharya, 92 years in the case of Jagat Gurutam Kripalu Mahaprabhu, 125 years in the case of Shri Krishna. We all have a time that we'll be in this world for. No one can increase or decrease. Impossible. The amount of time we are supposed to be here. Vashisht, the guru of the Raghukul dynasty, the Raghu dynasty, is saying to Bharatji in Ramayana, सुनहु भरत भावी प्रबल बिलखि कहु मुनिनाथ रामा बिलखि कहु मुनिनाथ हानि लाभ जीवन मरण जश अप जश विधि हाथ रामा जश अप जश विधि हाथ सियावर रामचंद्र कर जय शरणम शंकर हरि ओम जय जय
सिया राम जय जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम.
Bharat had returned to Ayodhya, and when he came back, only then he was given the news that his father Dashrath had died. The king had died, and the one he loved more in his life, Shri Ram, was banished in the forest for 14 years. Hearing this, Bharatji became unconsolable. The Guru, Vashishtha Muni, Lord among Muni Rishi, Vashishthaji, says to Bharat, listen Bharat, destiny is very powerful. Hani labh, loss, gain, Jivan maran, life, death, Jash apajash, fame, dishonor are all in the hands of destiny. Narji says, Kaha muni sahimavanta suno, Jo vidhi likha lilar, Devadanuja naranag muni, Ko na met nihar. Naraji is saying to Himalaya, the father of Parvati, listen, Himalaya, whatever Brahma has written in the destiny of an individual, who writes our destiny? Brahma. Where does he write it? Lalad, Lilad, Bhal, Likhitam, on the forehead. And where does destiny come from? Purva janma kritam karma tad daivamiti kathyate hitopadesh. The scripture says the actions we perform in our past life, due to the free will that God has given to us, that becomes our destiny in the next life. We are the one who creates our destiny. Do not blame anyone. Whatever happens to us is a result of the actions we have performed. Shri Krishna gives us free will. But then he determines the fruits. Chapter 2, verse 47. Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. And no one can change. No one. Not even one moment, 1 second extra. Or less. You don't want to believe, it's fine. This is what the scriptures tell us. If you have faith in our Vedas and our scriptures, then that's what they say. You don't have faith, then that's all right. Many of us believe according to our convenience. What we like, that's good. What we don't like, I don't want to hear that. Conveniently we believe. We say we are devotees, but we believe our talk and what we like. Anything we don't like, get rid of it. Get rid of that person also. Anyhow, so Ajamil, so Yamraj will say to Bhagwan or a saint, I can't command you. This is the amount of time you have come for. If you want, you can stay longer. God and the saint, they can. They have that power. It's up to you. Normally they don't, but if they want to, they can. The Yamdoots, though, when they come for worldly souls, to take them to hell, to take them to Yamraj, to Chitragupta. And you're going to see, and you will know, because they are so terrifying, that yes, I am going now, especially if you have heard the scriptures. Plus you will know them, because they are so terrifying. So, because mostly people in the world, we are so attached to the world, that conviction there that I will get happiness in the world, and we have become so attached, we don't want to die. What will happen to my wife? What will happen to my husband? What will happen to my children? What will happen to my bank balance? What will happen to my dog? So the life force tries to hide in the senses, and it has to be taken out with great force. That's why for a worldly person, death is extremely painful. 2 times we experience the greatest pain, at birth and at death. Worldly soul. One who is detached, no pain. He's no attachment. He does not attach to anything or person. There's no conviction in his mind that I will get happiness in the world. To become detached first, to begin, that knowledge has to be there. There is no happiness in any person or object in the world. Detachment comes through knowledge, not by saying I will not eat this and I will not eat that and I will not do this and no. This mind is very crazy. You force it, it gets more crazy. It has to come through knowledge. Knowledge of who am I? Knowledge of what is this body? Am I the body or am I the soul? Knowledge of the world. Knowledge of heaven. Knowledge of where will I find true happiness, etc. When that knowledge becomes firm in the mind, it takes a while. A person may be doing bhakti for a long time, and the knowledge didn't sit as yet on the intellect. And suddenly they're sat. Things can happen like that. Oh, he can't change. I know him too well. Are in a moment? Valmiki changed in a moment. Valmiki was a highway robber. He used to kill people. The Guru said, all these wrong things you're doing, will anybody help you? All these people you're doing it for? To partake of the sin? Sure. Okay, we're going to stay here. Go and ask them and come back. Valmiki went and asked everyone, the parents, the wife, the children, if they will help him partake of the sin. Everyone said no. This is your duty. Valmiki realized what the saint was saying was true. He came and fell at the feet and begged him to be his guru. Guru said, okay, say Ram. Keep saying Ram. Valmiki's heart was so dirty, he could not say Ram. You find somebody in the world, doesn't have to be Hindu, Indian, anybody in the world. French, Spanish, Italian, whoever, German. And two-syllable, Ra, Ma, he can talk and he cannot say that. Find such a person. You will not find a person like that. Yet Valmiki's heart was so dirty, he could not say Ram. Guruji, Naraji said, okay, you kill. This is what you do, you kill people and rob them. So Mara means kill. So say Mara. Until I don't come back, keep saying it. Valmiki never asks Guru, how long should I say Mara? When are you going to come back? If I want to go toilet? No question. Guruji gave the agya, instruction, he sat down. Mara, Mara, Mara. Until ants build a nest over him. Eat him completely out. That's how we got the name Valmiki. Then Guru came, sprinkled water, became everything again. And he wrote the whole Ramayana before Ram even came. So in a moment, Tulsidas was so lustful for his wife. He crossed a raging river holding on to a dead body. Dead body. In the night, he went to the home of the in-laws. He could knock the door. They would have opened. He is a son-in-law. He saw something hanging. He thought it was a rope. And he started climbing. Now, it was a snake. Imagine a man climbing on a snake, 150 pounds at least, 70, 75 kilos, 80 kilo. And the snake remained right there and said, climb, bhaiya. The snake would have been twisting and wriggling, and even then Valmiki did not know this was a snake. So much lust for his own wife. And one word from the wife and he changed completely. If you loved Ram like how this amount of lust you have for me, you would have seen Ram. That was all. And they went and sat in the intellect. In a moment, completely he changed. He bowed to her, you're my first guru. So, we cannot guarantee. Anyone, practice. It can happen. Anyhow. So, because people are worldly, so someone who can only become detached, whose heart, whose mind has become attached to God. Otherwise, detachment, some people may have less liking for something and some people more. There are people who are more attached to money, somebody is more attached to women, somebody is more attached to men, somebody is more attached to animals. Everybody's attachment is different. But you're attached. To be completely detached, that the decision has come in the mind that there is no happiness to be found in any person or object in the world. Plus, he has gotten rid of the abhiman that I am detached also. The ego that I am detached, that is also gone. That will only happen when you love God. When your heart has become attached to God or the saint who is God personified. Otherwise, it's impossible. So the more you love God, the more you love the saint who is God personified, the true Guru, automatically detachment will come. You don't have to do it. Just practice one side, attachment. Detachment will happen by itself. But that comes with knowledge. Knowledge of Guru, knowledge of God, of where will I find happiness. The mind, once it gets convinced, that's it. So one who is detached, even if Yamdoots were to come, he has no problem. Because he's not attached. It's those of us who are attached. That conviction is there that this thing in this person in this world will make me happy. Some woman, some man, some children, some money, some animal will make me happy. That conviction is very firm, uncountable lifetimes. It doesn't change like that. Without the grace of a true saint, when we take shelter in a true Guru, this is what the real satsang is. Then you know, I am in the right place. When we associate with a true saint for some time, what happens? Our attachment for the material world, which we couldn't have lessened or gotten rid of even after uncountable lifetimes, will start decreasing. The attachment for the material world. An attachment for God will start increasing automatically. That's what's the real satsang when we associate with the true saint. That's what happens by itself. Anyhow, so Ajamil saw the Yamdoots and he thought, he became very scared that I was going to die. So that time when you think you're going to die, what you're going to think about? The thing you love the most and you're attached to most in the world, that is what you're going to remember. If you're attached to Bhagavan, you'll remember Bhagavan. If you're attached to the world, your mind will go to wherever the most attachment you have. The thing you love the most or the person you love the most. And Ajamil loved his little son the most. So he remembered that son. And he started screaming, Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. Not Bhagavan, but his son. He wasn't thinking about Bhagavan, but he was taking Bhagavan's name. ये सुन के ही विष्णुदूत, पहले यमदूत आए थे, वो डर गया, चिल्लाने लगे. अब जब हरि नाम को लिया तो विष्णुदूत, भगवान के दूत वहां आए और जबरदस्ती से यमदूत को हटाया. हटो हटो, क्या यहां से हटो, छोड़ दो उनको. Now when he started screaming Narayan, Narayan, which is the name of Shri Krishna, loudly. Remember first, the Yamdoots, the messengers of death of Yamraj had come, which was very scary. That's why he's screaming. But when he started shouting Bhagwan's name, the messengers of Bhagwan came. Vishnudut. Saints. God from the Bhagwan's abode. Who else will come? Saint. The attendants of Bhagwan. They came. And they moved. They told the Yamdoots, the messengers of death, get out from here. Move. Leave him alone. Leave him alone? The Yamdoots started saying, what are you doing? ये क्या कर रहे हैं आप लोग? Why are you interfering in our work? This person is a great sinner. He has done so much wrong things. Then the Vishnu said, if you are truly servants of Bhagavan, you are his attendants, of Yamraj, then you will know the true meaning of dharma. You are saying he is adharmic, but then you do not know the true meaning of dharma. Ab dekho, so much things to explain. There are two types of dharma. There's so much lesson to bring from this katha. Actually, we can take a whole week and just do a Jamil katha. I'm trying to do it in one katha. There are two types of dharma. One is called Sharirik dharma. One is called Bhagavat dharma. Sansarik dharma. Paradharma. Aparadharma. Many names. So there are two dharma. One Sharirik dharma, Sansarik dharma. In other words, the dharma of the world. And one is Bhagavat dharma, Paradharma, Adhyatmik dharma. In other words, the dharma of Bhagavan, of God, divine dharma. The dharma related to this body, this material body we have, Prithvi, Jal, Tej, Vayu, Akash, Earth, Water, Fire, Air and Space, that is called Sharirik dharma, worldly dharma. And the dharma related to the soul, the Atma, or to Bhagavan, which takes us to Bhagavan, that is called Bhagavat dharma. If we are a body, then do Sharirik dharma. What is that going to give you? Force to begin, impossible to do in Kali Yuga. And all it can give is heaven, Swarg, which is destructible. The greatest fool wants to go to heaven. There's nothing there. We have been there uncountable times. We have to come back right here and suffer. So the true dharma is the Bhagavat dharma, because we are the soul, the Atma. We're not the body. That dharma will take us to Shri Krishna. So there was a long argument about Bhagavat dharma and the greatness of Bhagavat dharma, of performing bhakti, devotion. And they defeated the Yamdus. Haradya. उन्होंने कहा कि ये अपने बहुत पापी है, बहुत पाप किया उन्होंने, अनंत पाप, लेकिन अनंत जीवन में अनंत पाप किया, लेकिन क्योंकि भगवान का नाम लिया उन्होंने, और जो भगवान का नाम लेते हैं, भगवान का एक नाम में इतनी शक्ति है कि अनंत पाप भी वो नाम को अपवित्र नहीं कर सकते, अशुद्ध नहीं कर सकते. Then they said to the Yamduts, but he has atoned for all the sins he ever performed. All the sins. Yes, in uncountable lifetimes we have performed uncountable sins. Don't just count one lifetime, not just look at this lifetime of a Jamil. Uncountable lifetime, all of us. We have committed uncountable sin. It's called Sanchit Pap. And it's all stored in the mind. But he uttered the name of Bhagwan. Bhagwan's name is so powerful, there's no amount of sin anyone can commit that one name of Bhagwan cannot destroy. Why? Nam Kadi Bahudha Nija Sarva Shaktis. Because God is sitting in the name. There's no difference between God and the name. They're one and the same. But we have to take it with that faith. If you take the name of God, any name of Bhagwan, with the faith that 100% God is sitting in the name, you don't have to do anything else. You will attain everything. We take God's name. We sing day and night. People are doing jap, all kinds of things, but like a parrot. No feeling. There's no feeling of whose name I'm taking. That's why we don't get benefit. Mechanically, we just taking the name like that. So he is a turn for that. A papi इतने शुद्ध नहीं होते हैं व्रत करने से, योग करने से, इतने यज्ञ करने से, जो भगवान का नाम लेने में शुद्ध कर सकते हैं. the Vishnu Doots, they're saying to the Yam Doot, a person who is a sinner, a worldly soul, is not purified from his sins so much by practicing fasting, vrat, through austerities, tapasya, through jap, doing the name of God on the beat, etc., as by just taking the name of the Lord. So much power the name of the Lord has. Just by taking the name and putting him in your mind, सुमिरन करो, सुमिरन करो. तो ये तो उन्हें अपना पूरा जितने काम किया, क्योंकि भगवान का नाम लिया उन्होंने, पूरे इसको इस नाश किया. He has destroyed the whole stock of all actions performed in uncountable lifetime just by taking the name of the Lord. In this way, showing the greatness of the path of bhakti, ki bhakti sabse ucha hai. The highest path is bhakti, the path of devotion, of love in God. And defeated the Yamdus. वहां से हट गए यमदूतों ने. The Yamdoots left from there. And what happened after? Page 16 in the books you have. Chant the name of the Lord, chant the name of Radharani, Shri Krishna. Meditate on Radharani, meditate on Shri Krishna. You will attain everything just by chanting the name. राधे राधे श्री राधे 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 राधे
राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे.
ओ राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे.
गाओ छिन छिन नाम राधे, गाओ
छिन छिन नाम राधे.
Every moment chant the name of the Lord, Radharani, Shri Krishna. और ध्याओ भी छिन छिन. Not only chant, meditate on Radharani, meditate on Shri Krishna, meditate on Sitaram. गाओ छिन छिन नाम राधे, गाओ छिन
छिन नाम राधे.
ध्याओ छिन छिन रूप राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे. ध्याओ
छिन छिन रूप राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे.
गति की गति तू ही राधे,
गति की गति तू ही राधे.
तो ही तजी कित जाऊं राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे.
तो ही तजी कित जाऊं राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे.
ओ श्री राधे राधे राधे,
श्री राधे राधे राधे.
ओ राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे.
राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे.
अजामिलोऽप्यथा कारिं दूतानां यम कृष्णयोः, धर्मं भागवतं शुद्धं त्रैविध्यं च गुणाश्रयम्. अहो मे परमं कृष्ण मभूय दिवि जातात्मनः, येन विप्लावितं ब्रह्म विपल्यां जायतां ना. राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे.
राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे.
ओ राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे.
राधे राधे श्री राधे 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 राधे
असवर दे वरदे मोहि राधे असवर
दे मोहि राधे
तो सो कभू कछु नाही मांगू श्री राधे राधे राधे
तो सो कभू कछु नाही मांगू श्री राधे राधे राधे
मेरा बल तेरा नाम O Radha Rani, I have no strength in wealth, no strength in power, in age, in memory. My only strength is your name, O Lord. Because if I have the faith that you and the name is one, and I chant your name like that, then one day you will certainly have to come. That's my only strength. Mera bal tera नाम राधे मेरा बल
तेरा नाम राधे
काऊ दिन आना होगा तो ही राधे श्री राधे 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 काऊ
दिन आना होगा तो ही राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
श्री राधे राधे राधे
राधे राधे राधे
हो कृपालु कुपूत जगत बहु
हो कृपालु कुपूत जगत बहु
हो कुमाता न जगहु राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
हो कुमाता न जगहु राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
श्री राधे 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 राधे
राधे
श्री राधे राधे राधे
राधे राधे राधे
श्री राधे 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 श्री राधे 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 श्री राधे राधे राधे
श्री राधे राधे राधे
श्री राधे राधे राधे
राधे राधे राधे
श्री राधे 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 श्री राधे राधे राधे
राधे राधे राधे
राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
राधा कृष्ण भगवान की जय। तो अब यमदूत से मुक्त हो गए तो बहुत खुश हो गया अजामिल, और वो कारण था विष्णुदूत। तो प्रसन्न चित्त होकर विष्णुदूत की तरह देखा, प्रणाम करने गए तो वो लोग वहां से गायब हो गए। Ajamil did not die. Listen to the katha carefully. Being extricated from the noose of the Yamdoots, they had to leave. Ajamil became very happy. And the cause of his becoming free were the Vishnudoots, the messengers of Bhagavan. So he looked towards them and was about, very happy, and was going to do pranam, to bow to them. They also disappeared from there. अभी यहां बहुत सुंदर लिखा है, अजामिलोप्यथा कर्ण्यम दूतानाम यम कृष्णयोः धर्मम भागवतम शुद्धम त्रैविद्यम च गुणाश्रयम. Listen carefully. संतों के मुख से असली ज्ञान मिलकर यहां श्री कृष्ण के दूतों से, मतलब संतों के मुख से भक्ति का पूरा ज्ञान मिल गया कि भक्ति ही करना श्री कृष्ण का, जो 3 गुण से परे है. उस समय अजामिल के मन में भक्ति पैदा हो गया. ये कथा सुन के, संतों के संग करने से, और अपने पूरे भूतकाल का जीवन को धिक्कार किया. Ajamil, after Yamdoots and Vishnudoots left, Here, and he had heard the whole lecture, the discussion between the messengers of Bhagavan, the Vishnu Dut, Krishna Dut, and the messengers of Yamraj, Yamdut. And that knowledge went and sat in the intellect of Ajamil. When we associate with a true saint in the right way, this is what satsang is, the real satsang. That's why in the Ramayana it says, Binu satsang viveka na hoi. How we'll get knowledge? Without the association of a true saint. Sat, the sang. Sat means saint. Sang means association. When we associate in the right way with the true Guru, the true saint, we will get true knowledge. But how are we going to get our association? Ram Kripa Binu Sulabhan Soi. Only when Bhagavan will shower his grace. Otherwise, we have met saints through God's grace, but there's another grace we have to grace ourselves to. Because we start judging, is he a saint? What is he saying? I think I know better. We start doing commentary. He's saying like that, but I think I understand like this. Let's have a discussion what this fella just said, this Babaji. I think he didn't understand properly. I think I understand. People have commentary. We have this abhiman that we know better. We're not going to accept. Big commentary. He said like that, but I think, after all, I'm a very educated person. I've been to university. I'm a teacher, I'm a doctor, an engineer. I'm very knowledgeable. I can't just accept like that. In Bhagavat Mahapuran it says, two kinds of people can attain God. जो महामूर्ख है और जो असली विद्वान सही जो ज्ञान मिल गया. Either the very stupid, foolish person or the one who is truly not knowledgeable. The really foolish person is easy to convince. He doesn't know anything. So it's easy to convince, but he also accepts nonsense. Everything he accepts. But it's easy to convince. If he happens to meet a true saint, the true Guru, and he gets true knowledge, he can go to Bhagavan. And the truly wise, the one who knows I do not know. He already has attained that I do not know anything, the truly wise. And the one in between, most of us in the world who have acquired a little bit of knowledge here, a little bit by reading here, reading there, and we think you know everything already. Oh, Bhagavan, everywhere doubt. Very difficult. Uncountable saints we have met. But we apply our buddhi. This ego we have. I think I know too. Because of this abhiman, this ego, we never benefited. So Ajamil, all the knowledge, that bhakti that is beyond the three qualities of Maya, he attained the knowledge of bhakti, how to do bhakti and the greatness of bhakti. When you understand the value of something, you get attached to it automatically. We people don't understand why we should know God. We don't understand the value of this human body we have, and we waste it of what we are getting. We waste it. Golden opportunities just slip through our fingers. Because we give more importance to crazy things in the world. We don't even have any guarantee we'll live to see the next moment. And we are still thinking, no, I have to do this thing. This thing is so important, I must. Bhagavan comes afterwards. Secondary. No guarantee. Ajamil, that devotion that was now came in his heart for Shri Krishna. Bhakti paida ho gaya. Just by hearing the glories of Bhagavan Shri Krishna from the Vishnu Dut, the Shri Krishna Dut. And he started to repent at that moment. I was born in a very high Brahmin family. I had knowledge of the Vedas and other scriptures. I was so virtuous. And what happened? I lost everything. How much sins I have committed. This is important. To repent, to realize I have done wrong things. If we don't think that I did anything wrong, then no, you're not going to think I am a sinner, I am wrong. I am right. You are wrong. Everybody is right. Nobody except wrong. The abhiman, that ego, we're not willing to accept that we are wrong. We find fault in everybody and everything, but we cannot see our own fault. Very difficult. And it's all ego, abhiman. That thing which prevents us from going forward. So by repenting, by realizing that we have done all these wrong things, then humility will come, tolerance will come. Otherwise, that's why we cannot become humble, we cannot become tolerant, because we don't realize, we cannot feel deep that I am the most sinful, the worst of sinners, that even Ajamil is nothing compared to me. I am so sinful. The day you start feeling like that, tears will start flowing, and then you will become humble. Then you will be able to forget and forgive. Then you won't have anybody in your mind. Instead of having Radha, Krishna, Bhagwan, and saint in our heart, we keep people in our mind with negative feelings, dirty feelings. The same heart, we want Bhagwan, we want bhakti. So he repented. अब सोचने लगे कि ये स्वप्न है क्या जागृत अवस्था में. Now Ajamil is thinking, did I have a dream? Or did this happen in real? This happened in real. ये लोग कहाँ गए? Where are the saints and sages that I saw? Where are the Yamduts, the messengers of death? अब एक श्लोक सुनो. Listen to this shlok very carefully. Listen carefully. Iti jatasu nirvedaha. Iti jatasu nirvedaha. Kshana sangena sadhushu. Ganga dwari mupeyaya mukta sarvana bandhana. Mukta sarvana bandhana. 6th canto, 2nd chapter, 39th verse, Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran. All the people who say, Ajamil took the name of his son, he died and he went to Bhagwan. Read Bhagavat carefully. Read the Shrimat Bhagavat. It's written so clear. This verse, 6th canto, 2nd chapter, 39th verse. Having become detached because bhakti now came. Bhakti will come, then you will become detached. Love for Shri Krishna. Bhakti came in his heart. All because a moment association. Kshana sangena sadhushu. Satsang, the real satsang is so great. But sadhu sang, not worldly people, not kusang. Sadhu sang. When we associate with the true saint. Sadhu means sant, saint. Kshana sangena sadhushu. That moment association he had with the Vishnu Dut. The sadhu here is the sant, the saints, the messengers of Bhagwan. Mahapurush. And the knowledge he imbibed from them, he became totally detached. Mukta sarvana bandhu. Mukta sarvanu bandhana. Sarvana bandhana. Sarvan, all the relation he had in the world, the previous relation, as well as the one he had now with the prostitute and the children he had, and even the one Narayan, his little son. He became totally detached. All because bhakti came. Love. We cannot think I am doing bhakti, I have love for God and I love the world too. Impossible. Ek man, one heart, one mind. Either we love the world or we love Bhagavan. We cannot love the world and Bhagavan at the same time. Impossible. Udho manan bhaye das bis. We only have one mind, bhaiya. And this is what happened to Ajamil. He fell in love with Shri Krishna. All because he did the right satsang. He had association with the Vishnu Dut, the messengers of Bhagwan, the real saints, sadhu. And that, he became totally detached. He went to Ganga Dware. It's written here in Bhagavat, Ganga Dwara Mupeyaya. He went, at that time is called Ganga Dwar, what we call Haridwar today. Haridwar. He went to Haridwar. Ganga Dware, Haridwar. And there he went in an ashram on the bank of the Ganga and started doing bhakti to Shri Krishna. He didn't die, he did bhakti. Yaha. Yarhur parat dhi tasmin nadrakshit purushan purah. And after doing bhakti for a while, ये भक्ति करते करते उनके मन भगवान में पूरा आसक्त हो गया, पूरा आसक्त. He did bhakti for 1 year. 1 year on the bank of the Ganga at Haridwar. In seclusion, alone by himself. Seclusion is very important. He couldn't sit home and do it. In this very sacred place called Haridwar, sitting by himself, in that beautiful ashram, he did bhakti for 1 year. Bhakti was already born in the heart, not fully. So he was practicing, he had acquired the knowledge, everything that Vishnu Dut blessed him so much. That he went at Haridwar and did bhakti for 1 year. Ab yahan, 6th canto, 2nd chapter, 42nd verse. His mind now had become totally attached to Bhagavan, totally engrossed in Shri Krishna. Fully, Purushan Puraha. Puraha means fully, completely attached. Then what happened? He beheld the Vishnu Duts again. The messengers of Bhagavan alone came. No Yamdut came this time. When someone attains God realization, or if it's Bhagavan, either Bhagwan messengers will come or Yamraj, not Yamdut, cannot come. The messengers of Bhagwan came. He recognized them because they had come before. He knew this time, up to ho gaya. And there he quitted this material body. Ye chhod diya. When we attain Bhagwan, we don't go to Golok with this, to Bhagwan's abode. We get a divine body. He quitted this body, he, the soul, the Atma, and he was given a divine body. And Orat par jaake baith gaya. He went and sat on that Viman, that divine chariot that had come with the Vishnu Dut, and he was taken to the divine abode of Bhagwan. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki. So devotees, I hope it's important to understand. Shri Krishna says in Gita, or else it's going to be big confusion. Shri Krishna says in Gita, Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam yati nastatya sanshayah. Chapter 8 verse 5 Gita. Antakale, the last moment when the life is leaving the body. Muktva kalevaram. When the life is leaving the body, Antakale chamameva smaran muktva. One remembers God, Shri Krishna, then you will go to Bhagavan. Only then you will certainly go. Shri Krishna is saying to Arjun, read it, chapter 8, verse 5, Gita. The next verse he says, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tame veti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitaha. Chapter 8, verse 6, Gita. Whatever we remember, yam yam vapi smaram bhavam. Tyajatyante kalevaram. Kalevaram means the body. When the life leaves this body, whatever you remember that time, what we're going to remember, whatever we love, where we are attached, that is what we are going to attain, where we're going to go after we die. When Ajamil was taking the name of Bhagavan, Narayan, where was his mind? On his son. If he attained Bhagavan then all the philosophy is wrong. Completely. Then take the Gita and throw it away. Because Shri Krishna is saying, wherever your mind is attached, yam yam vapi smaram, what you remember that time. And that time he was thinking about his son. He wasn't thinking about Bhagavan. But he didn't die. You see, it's very clear. He didn't die. He went to Haridwar, did bhakti for 1 year, haven't attained bhakti from those saints, the messengers of Bhagavan. And then his mind became 100% attached to Bhagavan. Now he was thinking only about Bhagavan. He didn't take any name now. And the Bhagavat, he said Narayan or anything. All he did was his mind was fully attached to Bhagavan. Wherever your mind is attached, when we are dying, the pain is so much that no worldly person can take God's name. You become unconscious. There's a certain amount of pain we can bear, and then you become unconscious. Having become unconscious, can you say anything? No. You can't say anything, fathers, to take even Bhagwan's name. No worldly soul can do that. A lot of people, they say Radhe, Ram, Ram, and you think they died. You haven't died as yet. That's not death. When the life leaves the body, then is death. And that time, no one can talk, the worldly soul. A saint can talk. But if he decides that to say Bhagwan name or not, the law is there, divine law. Wherever your mind is attached, his mind is attached to Bhagavan. Let anybody come and say, hey, you didn't say Ram, you cannot go to Bhagavan. Anybody. Kabir is challenging. So is where the mind is attached. And the Katha is so clear. So clear. But all we have to do is read properly. It is so clear. So it's where the mind is attached. Chant God's name. Take God's name. There's power. The name of Bhagwan destroys sin. It's so important. It gets our heart cleansed of the sin. Uncountable lifetimes of sin impurities. Take the name. But become attached. Do bhakti. Focus your mind on Bhagwan. Attach your heart. This is what Shri Krishna is saying in Gita. I told you chapter 8 verse 5, chapter 8 verse 6, now chapter 8 verse 7. Tasma sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhyacha mayyar pitamano buddhir mame vaivasya sanshayah. Chapter 8 verse 7 Gita. Arjun, at all place and at all times. Tasma sarveshu, all place. Kaleshu, all time. Ma manusmara, remember Shri Krishna, attach your heart, your mind to Shri Krishna. Or yudhyacha, you're Kshatri, do your duty, fight the war. If your mind and intellect is attached to Bhagwan like that, Arjun, you will certainly attain Bhagwan. There's no doubt about that. Shri Krishna makes it very clear, chapter 8 verse 7. Everything is there. There's no confusion. People are confused because nobody bothers to read properly, and somebody says something and, oh, he said that, so I believe. Is he a saint? We hear all kind of nonsense. Read properly, listen from the saints. Listen properly, then there will be no confusion. So I'll end the katha here tonight. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Shrimat Sadguru Sarkar ki jai. Siyavar Ramchandra ki jai. Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran ki jai. Radha Rani ki jai.